Hello, welcome back. This is Grillenheimer. Thanks for checking in. This is the homemade stuff. Um, this will be cross cat, and yeah, catwalk cross cat. I did used to have a cat, uh, but I said I wouldn't do this. But there's just a lot to see here, and I think y'all seem to really enjoy the sketches and the making of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and and show you what I've got so far. Um, and over here is my sketches for Crosscat because I got to thinking, okay, and you have to do this, especially when you're dealing with Transformer characters. You have to know, okay, what's going to be their legs? Where do I want the head? Where's the arms going to come out of? You have to have an idea to be able to have a sketch to be able to know, make it look like the toy and then go from there. Do a pose, which I'm not great at poses, I will admit. Um, but this will be Crosscat. I don't have him completed yet. I don't think so. No, I don't. I've got some other pictures here around me in the floor too. Oh, I got a lot of stuff around me. Okay, over here, let's go to outer switch. That's right. And this is an outer limits high performance boat. Oh, and my previous uh stuff of this, the HPB, when I was revealing Kill Switch's name, HPB is not high. I don't know what I said, but it's high performance, not. Um, I don't know what I said, but I said it wrong. It was very late that night. It's about 7 o'clock now. I'm gonna have to start making dinner before everybody gets home. So I'm going over this very quickly. Now here's outer switch. Um, this sketch looks pretty cool. He's not finished yet either. This was like the idea of the top of the boat. Kind of, I'm thinking was trying to what's the body? Is this the back? Did I want this the body? I know I want these to be arms or legs or something. Similar to my catamaran. What's his name? Oh golly, I can see the character anyway. And that's kind of what I styled this guy after, and like he's has his hand up like this, head up laughing, kind of like Galvatron, the stripes from the boat, as you can see here in his Decepticon symbol. So this would be like from the back of the boat, his head would come out, and what was here would probably flip up around and come up from behind him. That's why I put this up here. Trying to imagine like the toy, if there was a toy of something like this, how would it transform? You have to think like a creator. You have to think in 3D imagery, even if it's not atomically correct, if that's the right word there. Because they took so much liberties within the old show, from size to color to where things placed. They gave the heads for Ratchet and Ironhide were actually inside and behind their windshields. There's a sticker that went in there for their faces. And then they completely redrew them, for the cartoons. Actually, if you go back and look at the Marvel comics, the first issue, they drew the characters like the toys, exactly like the toys. And then after about issue 1 or 2, then they're like, okay, let's draw them more like the cartoon style, and they went with that instead. So this would be outer switch, and no, this is not final, though I do like it. I'm going to have to copy this a little more detailed, a little more depth, but I love the stance. I love the Galvatron kind of like stance there, hand on a hip or leg, and spread them. Let's see here. And hey, I've got at least a dozen and more of y'all that have been following a lot of my handmade artwork. these Transformer character cards. If you want to chime in the comment section and say, hey, this name is better, try this name is cooler, would you consider this name? You know, I originally had Phobos down here, which is one of the moons of Saturn, I think. But I redrew him, and again I start with like the top of the top side of the boat, engines forward this way, and I tried to keep about the same kind of style paint job, you could say, and I started breaking him apart. Like where do I want stuff? And I went ahead and drew a Decepticon thing on him and split it apart for his legs, which would probably be up here, I guess. So, and you can even see, whoa, there we go. The propellers for, yeah, I stuck his tongue sticking out. This is just just a sketchy sketch here. Propellers for his, like the bottom of his feet for his engines, because this would be where his engines would be, but I made it look very cartoony. And like I said, that's not the final. This will probably be the final. And he's kind of funny, squat. And I'm trying to do different styles with the heads. That, for me, that's a challenge. Different heads. Hands are not easy. And doing them in a pose is not easy either. I'm not a real artist, though my artwork does look really good. I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal here. You know, look at some of the IDW stuff, Dreamwave, whatever, you know, from the past and current. Their artwork is phenomenal, you know, computer and stuff. And this isn't. This is in the old style, so to speak, because I'm an old guy. But golly, and I put down here like skeet, skirt, Phobos, you know, an idea for his head. And I'm probably going to keep this. I'll probably end up pinning this and coloring this for this boat. I really like this guy here. And for this one, I may have named him Rival. I don't know. I have Rival up there. And we go over here. I had his top down and his side, trying to figure out, okay, where do I want the head, body, and arms, etc. And then I kind of drew just a makeshift sketch of what it might look like. You know, the windows that kind of go around. That's the window there with his head coming up. So his head would come up here. I guess these would be his arms. They would split off and come back here, and his feet would be underneath. I don't know, something like that. So they're not all exactly the same. Then they're not all just simply copies of themselves. Sorry for the shadow. That is my hand. This is Snap Switch, who is one of the Switch brothers, like Kill Switch. And like Kill Switch, I did him in a similar style. He'll be with different colors. Probably, I'll try to make him look a little cooler. You can see I tried to do his head a little differently, but similar. Put his speed handle on his left side instead of his right, like Kill Switch. So I kind of swapping some details out just a little bit. He'll probably look, I don't know. Gave him a little gun. His little trolling motor. So, and that Snap Switch right there. And I actually put black and green stripes, question mark, with blue seats maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I want to definitely make him look a little nicer than Kill Switch. Okay, now these are some of the final boats that were based on boats that we had in the family. We started off with something like this. I didn't really look it up exactly, but it was like a yellow sort of flat open boat with like a white interior, I think, or a white interior. I don't remember. I think it was actually a yellow boat with white interior. I came up with names like Buzzber or Topside. Topside is a little too much like Top Spin. but I do like kind of like Buzzber. There's him from the side. Not sure what I want to name him yet. And then there's that sketch there, and then come over here, and this is probably going to be his final. Hey, there he is. So this probably will be his final. And so he's like the open flat little motorboat. This was supposed to be a white MFG motorboat from the 70s or mid 70s. The interior was green vinyl, if I remember correctly, with green seats, with white Formica, also side seats in there or whatever. This top the cover, which you would snap on and snap in place and it would stay. I think that was white. Over here. Now, I got him in a pretty cool pose. He was one of the first ones I put in bot mode. Gave him a gun. We got him in a running pose here. Sorry for the shadow again. With his mouth open and his fist out. So, he's ready for action. Excuse me. And then I don't know what to call him either. I have ideas like Putterbot, Cuddy, Birth, Port, Knot, Knot, Leeway. Oh, wait, no. No, that's for Jackstaff, Deck, Dock, as in DOCK, but I have an idea for another different kind of dock. Gaff, List, Heel, Keel. I don't know. I thought I had a name for him, but maybe not. My card drawing days may be about over. I've got one more vehicle I do want to do, but I'm just going to have to tell you what this is because it's really hard to tell what it's supposed to be, but it's supposed to be a 66 Impala, or Impala, or tomato, potato, however you want to pronounce it. I think it's Impala. And we had a red Impala up at our lake house. And I learned how to drive in it. It was my grandfather's old car from 66. Maybe it was a family car. I mean, the front was a whole bench. The back seat was a whole full bench. It had only AM radio. It had an 8-track deck in there. Man, it was a neat car, and we sold it. I hated that. I wish we could have restored it, but it went downhill. But that was a neat car, and I think I've went through a couple of different names. I originally was going to call him Impound, and realized there was an Impound in Transtech, and I'm like, oh crap. So I think I'm going to call him Trunk because these cars had huge trunks. And like I mentioned before about Ironhide and Ratchet with their heads being behind their windshields, I drew his head behind his windshield. And with this big, huge chest, little out of proportion, but I was trying to make it to where you could kind of see what he really is or what he's supposed to be while he's also in robot form. And I actually gave him this pretty big... Are they home? I don't think so, but I am going to have to end this pretty quick. Like a big, long lance, barbed lance on the end, as opposed to a gun for a change. But yeah, he's supposed to be a 66 Impala, and that is Trunk. And here is the BBQ Grill. That's what we started off with. This is what I teased. And I mean, this thing's huge. Look at my hand compared to this thing. I just did it one day at lunch at work and teased it. Here's his bot mode. He almost looks like Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins. So this is you can kind of see what's supposed to be what. This is supposed to be the bulk of the grill, even though it's kind of funny looking. He almost looks like he ought to be stepping right out of Troy, or like a bot from way back when or something. Kind of funny looking, but he was supposed to be the grill. But I start off big, and it's best to draw them big and shrink them. Well, I ended up getting smaller than that. That's as big as I got, and that was as big as I left.